First of all, okay, the next 2 weeks, the 9 guys who's been suspended from the football team will have their court appearances coming up. So just giving you a heads up and let you guys understand that's been taking place for the next 2 weeks. So I don't know what's going to happen or what. That's just part of the process that they have to go through. Okay. Follow up from last week game against Missouri. We were not a football team that was consistent as a whole unit. We came out and we did a couple of things good on defense, and we got a turnover, and then all of a sudden we came back and we couldn't stop anybody. Then later on in the game, we went 3 and out. But then when we got in the red zone offensively, we couldn't score points. I mean, we could move the ball, we run the ball, get plays down the field, but like anything else in this sport, you have to be consistent in what you're doing, and we wasn't consistent, and that was the biggest factor of this football team. This consistency of finished plays, making things happen when you have opportunities to do it. Special teams, we didn't get better. We had a muff pump early in the game by BP, and he knows that was a big part of the game, and we're trying to get the field position going with the kickoff and kickoff return team. We couldn't get it. Eddie mishit about 5 kicks. No rhyme or reason. We was not trying to pooch it. He just mishit it. It's the first time that he's done it all year. So there was a lot of inconsistencies with the football team, and we have to make sure that we fix those inconsistencies this week coming back. It's going to be, like anything else, I can tell you it's going to be a challenge, but the challenge is for us. It's for us at the University of Florida, these football players on this team, to challenge themselves to be the best that they can be. David Reese made a comment on his football team. I think this comment has really made him be the guy that's the leader on his football team. Not a guy who's afraid to speak his mind and speak what he really believes in as far as his football team. And by him making those comments, I think that this team has really, kind of looked in the mirror and said, okay, Reese called it out, and this is what we believe in, and this is what Reese see. And he's challenged everybody. It wasn't a call out. It wasn't just doubting anybody. It was just he challenging everybody to be all in like he is. And I think that's the one thing that we want for this university and anybody a part of this university who's part of the Gator brand. They want to be at a high level. They want to be the best that they can be, just like anybody in today's life. But that's just a recap of the game from last week.
Question. Start with Ryan on the right.
Quarterback decision?
Still Malik. He didn't do anything to hurt us. He did a nice job of getting the ball down the field, making some throws and doing some certain things. And, we just have to build on what he's done and just keep moving forward.
Thomas.
Would you have liked to have seen that kind of response from David or anybody really maybe earlier?
Well, you know what? The thing that from this football team is different. And I'll say this. Like, I don't make excuses. I tell you guys, it's not excuses. We have to coach the guys we got, and I always say that. The alpha big time player on this football team was Marcel Harris. Okay, when you lost Marcel, then it became Jordan Sherrod. Then you lose Sherrod. And then all of a sudden it becomes Nick Washington. Then you lose Nick Washington. Now the guy who's stepping up right now is a true sophomore that played 3 games last year and games this year. That tells you something about this football team. It's a young team. They're looking for a leader. Now, he can become our leader because he's been having some great games, a lot of tackles. He's been playing hard. He's been making plays. And guys will look up to that because you always want a guy that plays the game as a guy who can speak because he's productive. And guys will look up to a guy like him because he's productive.
Did you bring up those comments in any meetings with the team or anything like that? Or
No, not at all. I don't, when the player speaks, you got to let the player speak what he feels. I cannot direct anybody. I would never direct.
I guess I'm
anybody.
wondering, where do you get the sense that maybe the guys have responded as kind of looking in the mirror?
Well, because when somebody challenges you like that, if you a Gator and you're like anybody else a part of this organization, you will respond. You won't just sit back and just say, "Oh well, it's part of it." Well, you're not a true Gator if not. And I think that's the one thing that this team will respond to what he says.
Scott in the back.
2 questions. The first related to this, so I'll go with that first. The attitude and effort since you stepped in, does it need to be better? Can you assess
Always.
it?
When you lose, you got to get better. And that's the one thing. If when you lose a game, you have to get better. You just can't accept, we're a lot better than we were. No, we're not a lot better. We're better than we've been, but guess what? We have to take that next step.
Second, I know you kind of addressed this, but for clarification, Scarlett and Rick Wells, they accepted their pretrial intervention today. Does that change anything for them?
I don't really know what happened, to be honest with you. And through that process with outside of this university, that's something that's the one step. Now the next step is what the decisions on campus do. I really don't have no idea what's going on with all that stuff. You have to talk to the campus about that.
Okay, so just to be clear, is it that they still have to go through like the school
Listen, I
conduct
tell you
review
again,
policy?
you have to talk to the university about those things. I'm the head coach at the University of Florida. I'm not the decision maker about anything that has to do outside of what this football program. I'm not trying to.
No, fair enough. I understand. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay.
Mark?
Randy, when you look at this job, you've been here now a number of years. When you look at this job as take a step out of your orange and blue, is this a really good football job coming up for the next guy?
I think it's a very good football job. It's probably still going to be one of the top programs in the nation because you're able to go and recruit nationally. You're always going to recruit Florida and the South Georgia areas where you're always going to continue great players at. And now you always can go to national because the Gator brand is big. And you won't sit back and say, well, there's no talent here. No, there's a lot of talent still on this football team. It's young talent. There's a lot of young players on this football team, and that can be future-wise, it can be unbelievable.
Nick on the right.
Offensively, kind of looked the same as it has all year. Have you thought about making a change as far as who's calling plays or anything you do differently offensively?
No, not at all. I mean, we moved the ball more than we just got to get in the red zone and score points. And that's the thing. We got to score touchdowns. Points is 3. Yeah, we did those things. But we got to score a touchdown. And when you're coming off a lot of injuries, Tyree Cleveland came in the game. Everybody said, oh, he's 100%. No, Tyree's not really 100%. But he gives us what we can right at this particular time. And you have injuries and Josh Hammond's just coming back. We got a lot of guys coming back off injuries that played last week, but it was about 80%, but they've given it all for this program. And then now this week, they should be anywhere from 95 to 100%. Now let's take the next step with those guys.
Graham, and then Edgar.
Any update on the injury of Brett Heggie?
Brett Heggie will be done for the year.
What about Jabari Zuniga, TJ McCoy?
Jabari will be fine. TJ's fine. Jakai and Kadarius will not play this week. They haven't recovered from the injury. The injury haven't responded yet. And they're in the same position that they were last week. So when you have that type of situation, you can't put the young men in those situations and try to play.
With Heggie, sorry to follow up. Do you have any clarification on what that injury is in terms of timeline?
All I know is a lower extremity leg injury. So I don't know the timeline and all that. I know he'll be done for the rest of this year.
Edgar.
Looking at the film, what were some positives to build on from the game the other day?
The biggest thing is, like I said, we was able to run the football. Okay, but 5 and 6 yards is good. But if we be consistent in our blocking scheme and then get to the next level, that 5 and 6 goes to 15 and 20. We get guys in open field in the run game, you got to make somebody miss to get the extra 30. The consistency part of it. We cannot move the ball and stall. Everybody give me like, well, why did you call a timeout on that situation? Well, on that play, I called a timeout, and all of a sudden we moved the ball from that point on. We couldn't take a negative play. Negative plays are demoralizing. So every time we take negative plays that demoralize you, but if we keep getting positive plays and be consistent about it, first play of the game, we threw a screen pass. Okay? Later on in the game, we threw the same screen pass. The guy blocked. The first play, he didn't block. What was the difference? One play went 20 plays, the other play went -5. The consistency. You have to do your job and be consistent at it. Just don't one time do it and the next time do not do it. You see what I'm getting at?
Sure.
Okay.
What would you say to C.J. Henderson about that play?
Just got on him hard about it. He's a better football player than that. He's a better player than that. And sometimes when you got young guys on the football field, they tend to phase out a little bit. And but we're gonna build him up. We're gonna keep coaching him and make him be the best that he can be because he's done a lot of great things for us, fellas. And we're not gonna beat a young man up because of something like that. We just have to make him understand you have to finish the play every time.
How tough of a just juggling act is it? I mean, given, for example, you have like one healthy defensive end now. You had 4 recently. Your Tyree's not 100%. Kadarius is out. Malik's out.
It's tough. But it's real tough when you have a lot of injuries like we do. We took the Sam linebacker, starting Sam linebacker, put him at defensive end. Okay, we put Moon at defensive end. Moon has never touched defensive end since not even in high school. But we had a week to try to get him ready because that's all we have right now. We're moving him and Luke back and forth at defensive end, but Luke never played defensive end. So the injuries come. Whoever's on that football field at that time, fellas, we have to coach it. And I hate to say it that way, not making excuses, but that's just part of what we got. We are depleted, yes, but we're not depleted to the point still got pride. We got guys who believe in Florida, and we're just going to continue to play those guys and get those guys in best situations that we can to now respond and come up for this upcoming week.
Ryan?
When did you first see David's comments up to the game, and did you talk to him about it and just let him know what you appreciate?
You know what I found out yesterday? I'm not a Twitter guy. I don't Twitter, I don't tweet, I don't do any of those things. So if somebody don't come and tell me, I really don't know, to be honest with you. I thought it was a positive when I heard about it. And so I don't look at things like that. Listen, there's things I don't do during season. I don't read anything you guys write. Okay, I don't. Okay? Because it's like this. You guys doing your job. So whatever you write, you're doing what you feel is best for your job at that particular time. So I don't watch ESPN and I don't watch SportsCenter, none of those things during football season. Because you can get your mind all messed up. So I always keep a positive things in my mind. And when things like that happen with Reese, I didn't know until somebody told me yesterday, to be honest with you.
So who told you, and then did you talk to David about it?
Well, I didn't talk to him about it. It's his opinion. And that's what he feels is what the team needs.
But you liked it though, so I thought that maybe you would have said that.
It's his opinion about what he thinks that this team needs, and I'm not going to take that from that young man. I don't think any time that you have a young man to speak up, that's a true sophomore about his football team and his teammates. You cannot take that away from him. That's the way he feels. That's the way he's trying to bring his team together. And now that guy's stepping up and challenging everybody on the football team. Is it wrong? Is it right? But he's challenging his football team. He's a young guy challenging his teammates. It's not a senior now. It's a true sophomore who's challenging his football team. That's why you asked me, is the talent level? Yeah, because the young guys are here. Now you just got to bend it all together.
And then, having watched the tape, what did you like about what Malik brought to the quarterback spot?
You know what? He controlled the game. He made some throws. Didn't give us many negative plays, made some throws. It just, we can't get all the way down to the 1 or 2 yard line. And I'm on P. Ryan right now. He broke outside, you one-on-one with a defensive back, you got two choices. You get tackled or you got to score. He's got to score. But in turns, P. Ryan is a true freshman, put in that situation. But in my mind, I think he's a Florida Gator. I don't look at ages. That's my problem. I don't look at ages. I don't look at junior or freshman. I don't look at that. I'm kind of crazy. I just see a Gator going against somebody, and I think he should have scored. Okay? And also, I think that when we score a touchdown, I don't look at, bad call. No, the guy shouldn't have hold. Don't put yourself in that situation. So that's how I look at things more than anything.
Thomas.
Circling back one last time to the Reese thing, do you agree with what he said?
Do I agree that you got to take pride in this program? Yes.
Do you agree with the part that
I don't know.
some guys quit?
I can't tell you that. Because guess what? When you're in the locker, you've been in the locker room before, right? I'm not getting on you now, so don't take this personal. You've been in the locker room before, right? In that locker room, things are said and people know certain things. I don't know what's going on in that locker room. I just know what the locker room is doing. But now, when they get one-on-one, or they get one-on-one in the dorm rooms, or if they get one-on-one when they go having dinner together, sometimes things come out as a player, or some things coming out that you have to just voice. Maybe that's when things happen like that. But you never know when a bunch of young men get together in that locker room. It's a lot of things happening, and sometimes it's a positive, and that was a positive for this football team.
And then this is kind of an
I thought you said it was your last question.
Go ahead. About Reese. This is kind of an unusual transition, being that there's almost a full month, really, with the season left. From the recruiting aspect, did you have any conversations with Scott Strickland about maybe how to approach things?
We made some recruiting calls the last 2 weeks, made some last night. We did a tremendous job of communicating with the guys we have on this football team and understanding that, hey, it's not about me, it's not about anybody on this team, it's about the University of Florida. It's about the Gator brand. You want to come to the University of Florida because you want to play at a high level. You want to get a great education, you want to get a family atmosphere. And every young man that we talked to last night was unbelievable. They was high beat. Yeah, coach, I'm still ready to come. Coach, I'm still ready to do this. They still excited. And I said, listen, we may not be here. Coach, I understand that, but you're right. It's about the Gator brand. And those are the guys that you want to be a part of this football team. The Gator brand, who wants to be a part of the Gator. And when you have young men like that really want to be a part of it, those are the guys that you have to embrace. That's the guys that you have to say, okay, we need this guy part of this football team. We need this guy part of this university. We need this guy part of this organization. And that's what we go for.
Scott in the back.
A couple other things. South Carolina is the tops in the SEC turnover margin. Can you just explain the value of executing cleanly, taking care of the ball this week?
It's going to be big, protecting the football. You know, all the years South Carolina, you know, Muschamp Will has done a great job of creating turnovers. You know, they play a lot of man-free, man coverage, and then say you have to beat us. And they try to mix it up front with the down 4 or 5 guys, depends on what kind of front they in. They run a lot of odd defense, to where they can bring one outside and drop the other, and bring both outside. So they do a great job of mixing it up, just to get the confusion of what can we do to cause the offensive problems. Now, if we on top of what we're doing and declaring who's the middle linebacker every time, you know, we can create some problems for them also, which we can take advantage of. And that's going to be the biggest key of the game, is who we declare as the middle linebacker and how we now can take advantage of what they do.
And then just your thoughts. What's Malik bringing to the offense and to the team even that makes him the guy right now? What are some good things he's doing?
Well, he's managing the game. He's not getting us in bad situations. He's managing the game. First time playing, and really first time playing since, you know, been a long time. Yeah, so he's done a good job of doing that, and he got to continue to do it. Like we talked to him the other day, don't relax. You know, still put yourself and your standards at a high level. Just like we told Felipe, keep it at a high level. Because you never know when opportunity is going to come for you to produce and get in the game and do certain things. So he's accepting that, and we're going to stay on top of it.
Scott on the left.
Hey, Randy, there's, you know, when you look at guys doing their job consistently, is anybody doing better at that than Johnny Townsend?
No, Johnny's been doing a great job. You know, really kicking the football, putting it in positions where we needed to be at. And he's a guy that's a senior that's doing a good job for us, and he's winning the field position battles. We got to continue to stress of him doing his job, which he's been doing now. We got to take advantage of those things.
I mean, is there an argument that you could have as maybe the MVP of this team? I know that's not what you want out of your punter.
You know, that things happen. You know, might be the best one right now. I mean, when I was at Miami, Matt Barshy was the MVP of the team. He's playing for Atlanta Falcons right now. So whoever gives you that chance to be the best on your team, that's who you have to be.
Edgar.
Dre Massey kind of had a little bit of a breakout the other day. How big was that for him, just for his confidence and to get kind of
in the right
direction?
That was huge for Dre, because he's been a guy that's, you know, haven't really seen much action. You know, coming off a knee injury last year, first game of the season, and then you go right on turf and have a breakout game like we did was really exciting for us, because now here's a young man that's coming around and doing a lot of great things. We got to find a way to get him the ball in his hands, because he's a guy that can make people miss in space, but also get vertical and stretch the field for us. So we're now up his role in what he's doing and make sure he can handle those things.
Just how important is it for guys like him and just anyone who's going to be back next year to really capitalize on these next coming weeks?
You know,
get some traction.
It's an opportunity for you to go out and play, but also it's an opportunity to show who you are. And Dre's doing that, and any young man on this football team have an opportunity to go out there and play and show who they are. I don't think when you play football, fellas, it's competition. And every snap you competing at a level where nobody else can compete at. And if you go out there and not compete one particular time, something bad can happen. And I don't think no young man in this sport would ever want anything bad to happen. So those guys are competing. Dre did a great job this week, and he's got to continue to keep going. And then now we need somebody else to give us an opportunity to do certain things.
Last two guys, Ryan and then Mark.
I know.
Ryan.
Go ahead, Brian.
You had 2 scholarship quarterbacks Saturday. What's the status of Trask and Allen?
You know, he's coming back. He's bouncing around a little bit. Both of those guys are injured. We just got to wait till everything comes back and the doctor releases where they can move around. Both of the guys are moving around, but they're not able to go out and do all the drops and throws and all that because of the injuries that they have.
And then Jake is back? Is that what it is? Or?
He's still going through things he's going through. He'll be back whenever the doctor says he come out.
Okay, and then Sean Davis travel?
Sean Davis will be back this week. We get one back. We traded off one and we get one back.
What's the status there, situation there?
Well, he's back. He's back running full speed, healthy to run around and things like that.
Thomas.
I know, unfortunately, some of your seniors, redshirt seniors, are hurt. Probably won't play. But for the guys that will, Powell, Kerry Clark, how weird do you think this will be going against their former coach?
I was going to say that was unique. You know what? It's playing South Carolina is like playing like another version of part of Florida. Most of the guys on that staff coached here. Some of the guys have played here, you know, and also worked here. So it's a unique situation. You got guys like that who's going to see them. Matter of fact, Dre Massey, you brought up, was committed to South Carolina. You know, so it's a lot of feelings and stuff with going part of this game. A lot of guys will go out and hug Muschamp. Kerry's gonna hug Muschamp. You know, guys gonna do that. You know, you don't take anything away from young man who's recruited by another opponent. You know, some coaches get, he should do. No, that guy spent a lot of time, you know, putting faith in the guy that recruited him to come to Florida. He gets the right to go over there and hug him, shake his hand. But now, when time when football comes on, he's gonna, you know, turn another switch and compete for the Florida Gators and compete against South Carolina.
Here, guys. Thanks.
I'm good.